really all that interested in like paranormal or occult stuff in The Sims. But once it hits October, everything changes. October 1st, I wake up and I'm like, okay, it's time to build a haunted house. Suddenly all I want to do is make like haunted, creepy things in the game. And it is now time for our annual haunted house tradition. I'm on this 20 by 20 lot in Copperdale, and I've got Vlad here kind of as a test sim, but I really liked the vibes of this area with the river and the water nearby. If you're looking for this lot, it's the empty one in the bottom corner of the high school years world. I set it as fall in game, and then I had Vlad sleep for a few days so the trees would start to turn. And I feel like this lot, kind of sneakily tucked away in the woods, could be a really good spot for a haunted house. And I want to build something with a very dark color scheme, very old and traditional looking, maybe like a wraparound porch, a creepy basement, all of that sort of stuff. The lighting on this lot is usually kind of bad, but apparently at this time in the fall, it's not so terrible. Okay, bear with me here because I'm not 100% certain what I want the house to look like. I'm thinking something kind of along these lines. Lots of porch in the front, and then maybe a kind of tall roof on the front too. There's something about the tall roof that feels kind of creepy to me. Maybe we should curve it a little bit. Yeah, actually that looks kind of cool. I like that. I was not planning on having a dormer. You know what? Let's not do that. I'm thinking no dormer is better for the vibes of this one. And once we start with the interior, this is gonna be a great chance for us to use a little bit more of the new nursery kit, because I've built a fair bit with the nursery kit, but I've been using like exclusively the pastel swatches. So I'm excited to build this house and try to use the darker colors. You don't really realize how small a 20 by 20 lot is until you try to actually start decorating it. And I've built the house and there's no yard. There's like no space left. Oh, here's something interesting. I wonder if we could fit ooh, yikes. I was gonna say, I wonder if I could fit a room up there, but I don't know. Is it better to have a basement than an attic? Because I'm kind of thinking basement instead of the third floor. Do you think that putting a very tiny little yard is a bad idea? I kind of want to put a graveyard back there. Is that so bad? Maybe I could scoot this whole thing over on the lot because that'll give me a bit more space. It becomes kind of long and skinny, but that's fine. This might also be one of those times where it's nice to have a wall completely around the front of the lot, but then like, is that too much? I'm gonna come back to that. I just want to think for a second about color scheme because it's gonna be very dark on the whole exterior. I might even use this horse ranch one. It's either that or like this one. This one has a little bit more texture to it, I guess. But I think I may stick to horse ranch. I'm also thinking that the vampires columns and fences and stuff are probably best for us to use out here. I would like to use Strangerville, but there's no black swatches in Strangerville for some reason. Okay, so here's kind of what it's looking like so far with the spandrels. Already kind of creepy. Right now I'm just putting columns on the edge, sort of like a little bit of trim on all the sides. How many bedrooms are gonna fit up here? Like maybe one? I didn't realize how small it was upstairs. No, I'll manage to get two up there. I'll make it work. I'm actually kind of curious about one of the base game windows. Suddenly I can't find it. Oh, this one. I never used this window. Honestly, I don't know if I have ever used this window. So that's something that kind of interests me to try. Here's kind of what it looks like from the inside. I'm actually not really 100% sure about that though, because I am gonna want to have maybe some bigger windows in the middle. Maybe we could do that because that doesn't look terrible together. And then if there was like maybe a little round window at the top, okay, I think that might work. And then we'll just get like a nice fancy door. There are things like that from vampires, but I'm not trying to make a vampire's house. Like I'm trying to split it up and try and mix and match stuff from different packs and different places. So I think I'm gonna try to not use the vampires one. Oh no. No. Are you serious? That window is white? Why is it black on the outside and white on the inside? So that one is too. That is just ridiculous. Who benefits from that? Why would they do it like that? There's like no continuity between swatches in this game. I guess we'll just have to try and make that room into a completely separate one. Because if we choose to close it off, it's not as obvious. And the same thing could happen up here. Like we could try to make that into a completely separate bedroom. And so that way maybe it's not as bad. Because I think it's okay if the windows are different colors as long as they're in different rooms. It'd be really weird to have two different colored windows in the same room. Okay, we'll do all these windows on the side of the house. I'm not super happy about how it looks on the back. There's something kind of weird about that I'm a little bit unsure of, but I think it'll be fine. So those are all the main windows. And then I wanted to have like some sort of paneling maybe on the outside. There is paneling from the spooky stuff pack, and it comes in some kind of interesting colors. It's got like dark gray, it's got a dark blue, but this is kind of what I was imagining. It's like this dark gray kind of I don't know, falling apart type of wallpaper. Honestly, I think we might need to have some sort of trim on this as well. Do you see how there's like a very small white line that's visible? I don't think I want that. I think I'd like to cover it somehow. So maybe I'll try and put that there. I think I broke the columns when I did that too, so I gotta put them back. All right, so far, I'm thinking this fence does not work. We could probably try a different one, but I'm gonna come back to that after I figure out the floor plan. I'm trying to figure out what I think would be best for the staircase. We might take a few different tries to get this to work how we want it to, but that's interesting because that becomes 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms upstairs. We can do a bed in the middle, that fits. We've got the nursery that we wanted. It is a little bit strange in this downstairs area. I don't really know about this part so much, and obviously it's clipping with the window, but I don't know if that's a problem either. It's kind of cool, the staircase tucked away like that. You know what else we could maybe do is have this become a closet instead. So we could have like 1 bathroom upstairs and then this room has a walk-in closet. That feels like fancy old house vibes, doesn't it? Okay, I have a new idea. Oh no, please calm down. I have an idea for the creepy basement. This has become kind of an odd shape, but I think that that might work. Oh, I have a new idea. What if this becomes the library? Imagine this for a second with like the big tall bookshelves, and they keep this door locked because they don't want you going in there. I don't really know what curtains to use. I guess we can come back to that. But that could be like an interesting library office sort of space. We got the 2 bedrooms upstairs. Okay, I will say this. I kind of thought in starting this build that it would have kind of like an old traditional layout, but now as I'm starting to think about this, I don't really know if that's gonna be possible. Basically, I wanna have like a very closed off floor plan. I want it to feel very tight and small in here. But like with how the staircase is in relation to the front door, I'm not so sure actually. Maybe it would have been better if I had flipped it. Oh, here we go. Now I'm deleting everything. All that work that we just did, I'm redoing it. What happened to the lights? Hello? Is every light upstairs glitched? Yeah, apparently. Okay, that's new. Oh, okay, this is worse. This is like definitely worse. Our hallway has become much smaller, which is maybe bad. I don't know. But hey, look, we've got a really, I could also steal some space from it, I guess. I don't like it when it's only 1 tile. It kind of scares me. This still works as a primary bedroom. It's just kind of a weird shape. And now there's like so many windows in the bathrooms, which isn't really what I thought was gonna happen. We can always delete them, I guess, but then it's sad. I suppose another possible plan is that we could put the staircase over here and our sneaky basement can be on this side. It deleted my lights again. Is that because it's haunted, where it keeps turning them off in random rooms? Should I build it as a regular house instead and then make it haunted at the end? Because that's kind of starting to bother me. Okay, obviously this furniture is not going to stay. It's purely like placeholder furniture, but this is what I'm thinking for this space. We could possibly even have a desk in the corner. A desk and like a typewriter. This is also prime opportunity for a bookcase door, so I will be using that. And then I'll put this big bookcase right next to it, so it looks like it's all one big bookcase, but actually it's a bookcase and a door. I'm also considering getting a piano in this room. I know that's going to be really tight, but wouldn't that be kind of cool? It makes the entryway a little bit more usable as well. Do we dare use something like this floor? It's kind of like old looking. There is the floor from the spooky stuff pack, but I don't know if I like it. Okay, here's a question. Do we dare put a window right there? A window into our secret basement? Probably not. Okay, this kitchen is really tight. I think maybe tight to a fault. I think I would like to use one of these tall cabinets. It does, again, make it very tight in this room, but I think I kind of like that about it. I don't know. I'm also wishing that the window was different. Maybe we could have very few windows in the back of the house. Maybe that would help with our weird bathroom thing too. Okay, I have not used this swatch of this wallpaper yet. It's really something. Let's just say that. But I kind of feel like that's what makes it good for this. And now we can start really messing with the lighting because I want it to be kind of dark. And I intend to use a lot of lights like this, like candle type chandeliers. There are levels to haunted houses. There's like the abandoned kind of haunted house. That's kind of what this is. And then there's like the really fancy kind of haunted house that is still fancy but has ghosts inside. Maybe we should try and do both. Maybe we should try and do multiple haunted houses in videos this month. Because I hate to admit it, but I am feeling kind of inspired right now. I'm gonna put a kettle. That one's actually an electric kettle, so it might not make that much sense being in here, but I think that it's useful for us to have, especially if you're gonna play here, because we're pretending it's an old house, but you want it to still be functional for your modern day Sims. Other than that, I'm honestly not super sure what else to put in this kitchen. fine. Oh, this thing. Oh my gosh, an excuse to use the new kit stuff. That comes in like kind of a cracked version also. Okay, so they can cook on that counter, and maybe I'll leave it like that. This room is going to become the library. I'm gonna try and bring in some more brown with like the brown trim, because then we can have the brown bookshelves. Oh, I guess if we do that, I don't have to have a desk over here, because we can have a desk in here. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking with this desk concept. That's the rug from the nursery kit. Is that weird? Oh, no. This one is like perfect. I'm gonna look through the paranormal pack a little bit, because I think we might want to get some of these things. Like maybe we could have a small haunted house painting. I was also picturing maybe something like this. I like the idea of the shelf in there. And then we can kind of put a few haunted little things on the shelf. I was kind of thinking like maybe a little chair in the corner, but I don't know. It's kind of tight. What if we only had floor lamps? Because we do have some kind of fancy like candelabra type things. So I could put that in the corner, and then maybe I could get a small lamp on the desk. Oh, it doesn't want to go on the desk? We could do that, because then it makes it very dark in here, and that's what we want. See, like this candle, it's not dark enough. We want everything to be very yellow. And then honestly, all lights, should I dim them a little bit? Like something like that. Okay, I put some spider webs in here. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. So that's 2 rooms down. This next room is gonna be the living room and the dining room. Tempted to use that same vampire's wallpaper. I hate to admit it, but there are some kind of interesting like tattered curtains. I just think I might want to have something a little bit more fancy than that. Cause like, yes, the house is abandoned, but there's not a lot of like tattered gross furniture in here. It's still all kind of fancy. I just put that window there so it would match the other side, but I'm gonna have to like put something to block it because it's white on the inside and I do not want that at all. That's okay though. Some sort of built-in is kind of cool. You know, this leather armchair in like one of these deeper colors, even like that deep reddish color, that totally works. Yeah, look at the lighting. Why do I want it to be that white? That's so weird. It's ruining the vibes. We need it to be more yellow. I'm trying this with these little things. I want to try to make them a little bit more yellow, and then I guess more dim as well. I like that because it brings out a little bit of that reddish color from the rug. We can kind of match that with this tapestry too. I'm going through everything from vampires now. I'm just looking because I thought that maybe if we had some radiators or something, that might be kind of cool too. You're supposed to put them like under the window, right? Do I have to? This is kind of a creepy little cabinet. I hadn't really considered using that. I don't know if there's too many things along that wall. Maybe it goes over here instead. Okay, now this is unhinged. There's like a bird skull. That might be too far. I don't know. I kind of like it. We also have these kind of cool antique tomes. They just put a big swatch update on those. This is Guidry the Ghost from the haunted houses. He kind of matches with his shirt. I wonder if I dare put him like all the way around the room. There's 2 pictures of him on like opposite walls. Oh, wait a minute. We have like the dead lilies from the art studio kit. Come on, that's so cool. Oh, I'm so glad I remembered those because that's way better than the other plant that we had. Okay, so here's the majority of this little room. I think we just need something else in this corner. I don't know, is like that thing too random? It's a haunted house. They can have random things. We can make it work. Oh my gosh, this clock would have been wild. I wonder if I can still put that upstairs because we can scoot the doors over and we can get a ridiculous grandfather clock in the upstairs hallway. I'm thinking I'm gonna try to use the paranormal stuff wallpaper in here. I may also save because I haven't done that yet. I think that werewolves will also come in really handy for this build today. How about a coat of arms? I never used that item. Okay, so here's what I've got so far. I've got our secret bookshelf door. I put a little coat rack over here. I put that bookshelf cabinet from the Storybook Nursery kit. And then I just did a little tiny bit of alt placing of stuff on top of this. And I think that that could be the entryway room done. I'm just gonna have one wall light into the dark and scary basement. I'm not gonna put anything else. And maybe the basement itself will have very few lights in it. That's the whole downstairs done, so I might do the downstairs next. Because this is gonna be a haunted house with the paranormal stuff pack, I wanna use like the paranormal stuff pack seance table. We put a picture of a ghost on the wall. Is that too much? I don't really know. Oh, you know what else we didn't do is put any spider webs inside of this room, so that might help us too. That's like the first time anybody has ever said spider webs might help us. Yeah, that is a sentence that has never been spoken before. Okay, I made it quite dark in here. I dimmed the lights a lot. I do like the fireplace. I don't like this fireplace. I think I might pick something like that one. Although, is that too? I don't know. I guess I just can't tell if like the styles are clashing too much because we've got this like really gross wallpaper and then we have really kind of fancy furniture, but maybe that's fine. Maybe that's the vibes. Thankfully, the Vampires pack has some really ridiculous furniture that we can put in the bathrooms. I mean, like, look at that. I did the same thing twice in both rooms because I don't think that it needs to be anything super fancy. We make this more exciting with like spider webs and water stains, I think, to try and make it feel a bit older. I feel like I should probably just bring the same hallway wallpaper up in here, but maybe get a fancier light above the staircase. I'm constantly battling this, like, it's an old house, but it's gonna be lived in by modern day Sims, so I think I'm gonna put a thermostat right there, just because it'll be useful for you to have. How about this ridiculous portrait right there? And then on this wall, maybe just like one more picture to fill out the gallery wall. That's good. I don't think the upstairs hallway should have anything else because I'm scared that it'll become non-functional if we add much more. This next room is kind of the inspiration for the whole build because I wanted to use some of the nursery stuff, but I wanted to use some of the darker colors that I haven't really done yet. Oh no. I want the curtains so bad. Can I just use it even though it's too small for the window? I probably should not, and yet here I am still doing it. Okay, I'm obviously mostly putting infant stuff in here, but I want to also have some extra toys and things just in case, because when your sim gets older, they will need more. Oh, this doesn't work. Wait a minute. Maybe that's what we should have had downstairs this whole time. Baby playmat. Do I dare use the dark wallpaper? Oh, I think I will. I kind of like that. Okay, I'll admit that I'm personally not like 100% set on this room theme. It's kind of fun though. We've got some more red up there. I won't do too many spider webs in here, just a couple. I will unfortunately be using a lot of vampires in this room, I think, because we've got the vampires' beds and stuff. If I put this right there, that blocks the whole window. There's only one window, and that just completely covers it. Maybe I could find an excuse to get a small one over there. What color? Maybe, oh, what about the dark blue? I guess maybe that brown is better. It kind of just depends what wallpaper we pick, because I do like this purple bed, so I kind of want to stick to it. It doesn't match the rug outright, but it's like close enough that I think it's okay. I'm gonna put a mirror, but just so we're on the same page, this house doesn't belong to a vampire, okay? So it's fine. It's a house that happens to have a lot of vampire stuff in it, but it's not a vampire house. They don't even have a coffin, so it simply won't do as a vampire's home. I think I might put a fireplace up here. Did I use this one in the basement? Is that okay? Or we can make it small like this, and then I can still have that walk-in closet that we talked about. This is obviously unnecessary and also like kind of a waste of space because it's all fake, but it's kind of fun. Like, isn't it cool to have a little closet attached? And it fits the fancy house vibes. Okay, that's the whole interior. Now we gotta think about the outside because we haven't done that yet, like at all. I haven't touched the outside at all. I'm kind of looking for trees that change colors in the fall. Maybe they don't have any backyard space. Maybe it's like all trees. I really like the idea of putting like ivy or something up the walls, but I'm a little bit worried that if I do that, it's gonna look like cutesy and not creepy. I'm kind of talking about this sort of thing, like if we had something like that on the walls. But yeah, I don't know. There's some creepier, more dead looking ones from vampires. Oh, and maybe that's more along the lines of what we should be using because that looks a little bit better. Oh, the horse ranch low-lying plants. These might be really good for us to use because they already look a little bit more brown than the regular base game ones. And it's fall, so they're gonna look a little bit more brown than usual. I wonder if we could have like kind of a little creepy metal bench back there because then you could sit out and watch things. And then maybe we get like some sort of historic graveyard back here. I'll add some terrain paint to these to like make them blend in, but there's just a whole bunch of graves tucked away in the back. Yeah, that works. I like that they're just buried kind of under the trees, so it's not immediately obvious. But if you get close, it gets creepy. Well, you know what? Maybe this is good because we don't have a lot of backyard space to put like a dining table or anything like that. But there's a little bit of space if we wanted to put them on the porch. I don't know if I like these. There's a reason I never use them. There's something about it that's kind of looking a little bit off to me. Okay, so right now I'm kind of trying to go through and just start by layering in some plants, like different shrubbery and stuff. We're gonna want a handful of different bushes. Not those. Maybe this one will be okay though. We're obviously gonna want to have flowers too, but I don't want to overdo it with the flowers because I don't want it to look cheery. I want it to look kind of gross. So if we start with all the bushes and then we go back and we add in a flower that's kind of like this color, that's like a deep purpley color, so it kind of has that haunted house energy that we want, and we'll kind of mix and match those all around the place. I actually really like that. I think that's the right amount of flowers. It's very subtle, but in a good way. I'll do the same thing back here. Just get them in a few different places. I wish these rocks came in black. I would love to use them in a darker color. I might just add some of these around still. Also, Also, is it ridiculous to have like the Grim Reaper gnome? I'm just thinking because it's haunted, like maybe that's fun. Okay, we have chess table, regular bench, and a dining table. I might also get a grill. I don't know if that really fits the haunted vibes, but again, it's useful for gameplay. And also it might catch fire. So those are all wins. Okay, I think we've got all the landscaping down though. So what I'm gonna do now is go through and add terrain paint underneath all of it. That helps a lot with blending it all in. I'll make sure I put terrain paint under all the trees. And then last, I kind of wanted to get like a little bit of terrain paint underneath the graves. I'm gonna swap these because I kind of want to have the smaller tree. I'm just trying to scoot them still so it looks okay, and then get this big tree like over there. I'm not sure about the cypress trees. I like the idea of them, but I don't like that they don't change color. Obviously that's the whole point of that kind of tree. They call them evergreen for a reason. I think I just kind of want to have some more brown. Do you think it would be weird if I put some like close to the house of these? That is very brownish. I don't know if it's good. I put a bird bath too. And then maybe last we just get a little bit of a pathway, maybe something kind of darker. I almost forgot to give us a trash can. That would be useful too because there's not one inside. So we've got a trash can, we've got a thermostat, we've got a mailbox, and we've got a fully functional, very dark and kind of scary haunted house. And it's 3 floors, so we have that kind of secret room. This is for your Sims to use the seance table. Upstairs, we've got an entryway, a living and dining room, a small kitchen, and an office. Upstairs again, we've got 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, plus a little closet space. So this is kind of cool. I'm gonna put it as a haunted house. I feel like I should probably put it on the gallery at night, like maybe in the evening. I'm gonna call it the Copperdale Haunted House. And if you play here, the haunted house lot type from Paranormal Stuff is actually haunted. Like creepy haunted things will happen to you in this home, which is kind of fun to do. We'll have to make some videos. Oh no, oh my gosh. I was gonna say we'll have to make some videos doing some haunted stuff again this year. So stay tuned for that. And I think on that note, I may end this video right here. I hope that you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy Halloween, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. Okay, should we do like a less scary haunted house and more like really fancy haunted house? Because I'm down to do another one.